Hey folks, this is Billy DKY, the truth seeker that simplifies and demystifies. This is going to be Into the Mind of Brandon Vera. It's a little out of sync with my normal Into the Mind series because Mafia Guy Z, Triple X, he says, I saw the video of Into the Mind of GSP. It was good. Saw a couple of others too. I liked them all and I subscribe. Please do Into the Mind of Brandon Vera. I would love to see that, and also include how can he evolve as a better fighter. Thanks. So this is not going to be as full blown and as good as my normal Into the Mind, because it's the typically Into the Mind series is, it's difficult. It's sort of like an artsy thing. I need time and I need time to see the fighter and see a breadth of experiences that they've went through and fights that they've went through to do a really good one. But I'll just do a quick down and dirty Into the Mind of Brandon Vera for Mafia Guy Z Triple X. Okay, so let's start. Basically, Brandon Vera's biggest issue that I can see is his ego. Pretty cocky guy. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's a likable guy, funny guy. It seems like he'd be a fun guy to be around. And when Brandon Vera first stepped onto the scene, I mean, basically he was, like I say, cocky, brash, and he was walking through guys, and like I say, funny, and he had that feeling of invincibility. And then he ran into Tim Sylvia, which was a little bit bigger guy, and he couldn't really impose his will like he'd done previously, and he so he ran up against a wall that he couldn't defeat as easily as he'd done in the past. Then I think he broke his hand in that fight, maybe in the first round. So he's fighting, with a broke hand. I think maybe in that first round. That may not be exactly right, but it's not really the point. And from that point on, Brandon Vera really hasn't seemed the same. It seemed the same, and you see that with a lot of MMA fighters. They feel invincible. I can beat anybody's ass. I'm the man. I ain't scared of no man. And until they get that point where they fight somebody that breaks them in a way that they didn't expect. And a lot of guys, once that happens to them, instead of evolving and saying, okay, I've got to expand my skill even more. I've got to grow even more to be able to handle a guy like that. What they'll do is they typically revert back to the fetal position more. I mean, not literally the fetal, but you're seeing the fetal kind of position of the, instead of I can take on the world, pit bull. It's more like, it's hunched down. Like I said, it's not actually, you're not seeing it, but you'll see him withdraw instead of come forward as much. And he's taking on more of a cautious mentality instead of, that invincibility. And you've seen that, like I said, you've really seen that in all his fights since then. Okay, so that's basically what's going on with Brandon Vera. And with this new loss with to John Jones, I'd say it's probably even going to be worse. And really, so the next thing was, he said, please include, I would listen. I also include how can Brandon and Vera evolve as a better fighter. Thanks. Brandon Vera is only going to evolve in one way. He could possibly do some of MMA training, but really it's going to have to come from spiritual training. It's not going to come from MMA training per se. And if you don't know who I am yet, I'm Billy DKY, the truth seeker who simplifies and demystifies. Basically, I hate to say this because it seems a little arrogant, but I'm the guy that's going to replace all these religions because I know how it really works. And if you want to know, go to that blog in the first link in the information section of this video. It's called Following the Way of Growth. Basically, he needs to follow those principles to overcome his egotistical, pleasure-seeking ways, and really he's got to evolve to the next level instead of, like I say, going to the fetal position and being more scared. He needs to come back out re-energized. He needs to have, it's not about learning a new MMA technique. It's about learning how to evolve. And so just let me give you a quick rundown on how he should evolve. First thing you have to understand, it all boils down to growth, which I've said this numerous times in a lot of other videos, but I'll give you a quick down and dirty. What's the grass doing growing? What's the trees doing growing? What have you been doing since conception growing? What has science been doing since antiquity growing? So basically, what's the Big Bang? What's the universe been doing since the Big Bang forward? Growing. And I was walking through the park this past weekend, and it was just like the universe is screaming growth. So Once you understand that, Brandon Vera needs to grow to be a winner again and maybe possibly be on top. And on that blog, you'll see there's 9 universal principles that apply anywhere and everywhere. And the first one is apply yourself. So Brandon Vera is going to have to really apply himself to become a better man and a better person, and that will lead directly into being a better fighter. Principle 2 is baby steps. He's going to have to do small things to improve and be satisfied with small things, not looking for big one. And again, he needs to be looking at for here, not necessarily so much in, not necessarily so much in MMA. And then principle 3 is discipline. He's going to have to apply discipline to his life. And principle 4 is attention. He's going to have to learn how to do that. And there's just a bunch of things. So go to the blog if you really want to know more of what he has to do. But like I said, the big problems I see with Brandon Vera is the cockiness and ego. And what you find is guys who are real cocky, they'll stay cocky as long as they're on top. But when somebody breaks them, they turn into being scared. So it's the same old story. A bully's really a coward in disguise. So he really needs to get over that part of his ego. Like I said, I don't dislike Brandon Vera at all. He seems like a fun guy. And, I would say probably most of these fighters, I've noticed, they really don't eat right. And when I say eat right, you've got to understand that the ultimate food is taste of blend, which I've got 3 videos on that. It's some of my very first videos on the ultimate food. So he needs to work on that. It's huge for MMA training. And you just need to follow he needs to follow the principles. And I ain't saying he'll be champ, but he'll have, the odds will be on, he will be able to become the best possible fighter he can become by following those principles that I've laid out in that blog. So that's really all I've got to say. Again, this was just a brief one because I really wasn't going to do it because I really like to have my mind completely wrapped around the fighter before I do it. And plus, I like to do it when they're getting ready to fight too, to get more hits too on the video. So anyway, hopefully that's what you're wanting, Mafia guy. Z triple X. Till the next video. Later, folks.